ポップオブかわいいインザコスモ宇宙一かわいいアイドルレスラーの中野玉です。
Hello and welcome to the Decent Wrestling Show. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe and press that notification bell. Welcome to another edition of Superstar Ratings, where we take 10 aspects of a professional wrestler, rate them out of 10 to equal a total out of 100. On this edition, we take a look at Tam Nakano. Tam Nakano was not originally a Stardom wrestler, instead beginning in a company called Act Wrestle Girls Z in 2015 to 2016. She had a tryout for Stardom in 2017, but on that occasion she didn't have her best outing, which left her devastated, as she didn't think she would get signed. However, she was signed, and she was put into the faction Oedo Tai as a heel, but she was forced to leave Oedo Tai a short while later in a loser leaves faction match. She then later joined Stars, the babyface promotion in Stardom, who she has been with ever since. Tam is also an idol, which is basically a dancer and model in Japan, and she also was for a short time in a pop group, and she is also a licensed pyrotechnician. Since joining Stardom, Tam has become one of the fan favourites and is widely known across the community as one of the best wrestlers in Stardom. Moveset. Tam has a massive moveset full of different manoeuvres. The highlights being an RKO cutter, which is sort of like an RKO sort of manoeuvre, which she does after doing a matrix manoeuvre to move out of the way of an attack from her opponent. This is one of my favourite moves in wrestling, so that's going to go good for her score in this section. She also does a variety of kicks, including a super kick and a spin kick, which always looks really nasty, in a good way. Her kicks are very strong as well, so they're not just throwaway kicks. She also has a variety of suplexes. She mainly does a back suplex, is her main one I've seen her use. She also does the cartwheel back kick sort of thing, which I'll probably show here, which I believe was originated from Meiko Satomura, which is one of the biggest legends in Japan, in Joshi wrestling in general, and I always thought that was one of her coolest moves, so I'm happy that Tam also does this move. One of her other moves that she does in most matches is she usually goes to the top rope and does a jumping splash to the outside on her opponent. So overall, Tam has quite a big move set full of different great moves that I'm going to give her quite a high rating for this. In fact, I'm going to give her the perfect rating, which is a 10 out of 10. Finishers. Tam has a variety of different finishers, 5 to be exact. She has a Tiger Suplex, which is pretty good but nothing special. Twilight Dream, which is a delayed German suplex, where she pretty much makes them land on their head. So that is definitely a brutal finisher and a good one at that. She has the Dodon.Tam, which I believe is one of her newest ones, which is a double chicken wing face buster, which always looks good. She has the Violet Chute, which is the one she mainly uses, which is a running knee, sort of Shining Wizard type in manoeuvre. I'm not a huge fan of the Violet Chute, and I think her other finishes are better than it, but it's not a bad finisher by any stretch of the imagination. She also has a twisting knee hold, so she does have a submission finisher which will up her 1 point. And it is actually one of my favourite submission finishers that I've seen. I think it always looks really good and looks like it's painful. So I was going to give Tam an 8 out of 10, but she does have a submission finisher, so I'm going to bump her up to a 9 out of 10. I think that's only fair. Selling. Her selling is actually pretty good. She does some overselling and some realistic selling, and she has a good, what I would call a knocked out sell. So when she's kicked in the head, she has a good sell from those sort of moves, and any strikes she's really good at selling. She doesn't oversell to the point of a Dolph Ziggler or a Mr. Perfect or AJ Styles or people like that, but she does it enough to consider her as an overseller at times. which, as you probably know, I really like overselling. It's probably my favourite type of selling. She always has good limb selling as well. So overall, she's a pretty good seller and one of the best in Stardom at selling. So I'm going to give her a strong 9 out of 10 on this category. Character. Tam Nakano is probably one of the most developed characters in Stardom since being there since 2017. She is known as the Kung Fu Panda Girl due to her love of pandas. In fact, she loves pandas so much she even had a mascot called Producer P, or P-chan, a little mascot which was a panda teddy bear, little panda bear toy. Unfortunately, P-chan did pass away in 2020, as when Kagetsu retired, Tam gave P-chan to Kagetsu, and Kagetsu's dog did rip it apart, unfortunately. Before her time in Stardom, she used to do death matches, and that did translate over to Stardom, as she did have an exploding bat death match, which I'll talk about later. But she used to do. I don't think there's much footage of her death matches, as they were quite smaller promotions. But that's where she started, and she was a heel when she joined Stardom in Oedo Tai, and when she was forced to leave Oedo Tai, her character sort of changed into, she was lost basically. But once she found Stars, she found her place again and got her confidence back. And since then, she's been involved in an on and off feud with Arisa Hoshiki, who is basically second to Mayu in the group. And of course, Tam felt a bit, jealous of Arisa, as Mayu was giving Arisa more attention than Tam. And that's, made squabbles between Arisa and Tam. But it seems like Tam and Arisa have been teaming a lot in the last year, so they seem to have gotten over it, but there's still that tension there that could always blow over and spill out to a match between the two down the line for the white belt, which looks like it is the plan to do. So overall, I'm going to give the Kung Fu Panda Girl, the cutest in the universe, Tam Nakano, a 10 out of 10 for character. Promos. Tam is one of the better promo artists in Stardom, as she is very likeable and you always want to listen to her. Her promos I've known are generally a bit longer than the rest of Stardom, but she's definitely one of the most charismatic, so she can, pull off a promo and make you want to listen to her. She's never messing up her words like Mayu Iwatani, and she's always heartfelt.
プロレスにすごいやっぱ必要っていうかすごい大事なものだと思う。それはいろんなものに対してなんだけど、ファンの人への愛とか、ファンが人がくれる愛とか、パートナーへの愛とか、戦う相手への愛とか、チームメイトへの愛とか、なんかその大きいものをすごい今日は感じました。
And you always can relate to her. Overall, I'm going to give Tam Nakano a 9 out of 10 for promos, as you always pay attention to what she's saying and you always want to listen to what she's got to say. Entrance. Tam has probably the best theme in Stardom and one of the best themes in the world. I'm probably going to play a snippet here. It's definitely a great theme song and one of my favourites in wrestling at the moment. Also with her entrance, she sometimes comes out with a prop, or usually, I've seen her come out with a sword before, and a sort of like, well, I guess all I can really call it was a stick, but I'm sure it's some dancing thing. I'm not quite sure what it was, but her dancing is always good, as she is a trained dancer, so you would expect her to be, really good at that. So overall, she has an amazing theme song and cool dancing, and always gets the crowd involved. So I'm going to give her a 10 out of 10 for this one. Physique. Tam is in good shape. It's nothing out of this world. She doesn't have big bajillion abs, but it's not a bad physique by any stretch of the imagination. So I'm going to give her an average 7 out of 10 in this category. Athleticism. Tam is an amazing athlete. She does loads of top rope maneuvers, she's very fast paced and could fit in even with the high speed division in Stardom. And of course she does the jumping splash to the outside from the top rope. And all her singles matches, well, the little ones that they have in Stardom, are always really well paced and fast paced, and she doesn't look ridiculously tired after each one. So overall, I'm going to give her a 9 out of 10 for athleticism. I don't think she's the best athlete, but she's definitely an amazing athlete. Great matches. Tam has had loads of great matches in her career. The best 2 matches have been her match against Momo Watanabe for the white belt, which I gave a 4.5 out of 5, and the same with her match, a white belt match against Arisa Hoshiki, which I also gave a 4.5 out of 5. The only other match that reached that rating for me was her exploding bat death match, where she teamed with Io Shirai to take on Kagetsu and Natsu Sumire. And if you have not seen that match, I definitely recommend you getting Stardom World and checking that out. Other great matches from her include her matches against Mayu Iwatani and Kagetsu, both of which I gave a 4 out of 5 stars. She's also always usually the best part in the multi-woman tag matches, and she also had, believe it was Saya Kamatani, who is also known as Tall Saya. I believe it was Saya's first match, and Tam had it against her, and it was a very, very good match. How Tam was able to pull that out of Saya, and Saya's only improved since then, so definitely would love to see a rematch down the line. And maybe we could be getting that, since Saya Kamatani did technically turn on Tam and join Queen's Quest, so you never know if we might get a rematch of that. But it will definitely be even better than the first match which they had, which was still really good. So overall, Tam hasn't had any 5-star matches, but she always is always has a great match when given the opportunity. So I'm going to give her an 8 out of 10. I think that's only fair for her. And finally, credibility. Tam is one of the longest tenured people in Stardom. Been there for over 3 years now. She's also quite high up in the Stardom card, but she's never been the world champion or even won the white belt, although that could be coming in the near future. She has, however, won the Artist of Stardom belt twice, which is the Trios titles. And in 2019, she won the Goddess of Stardom Tag League. She also, and this is big for a wrestler in Stardom, at the Stardom Awards 2019, she won Match of the Year for her match against Arisa Hoshiki, and everyone is hoping that a rematch is in the pipeline. So overall, I'm going to give her an 8 out of 10 for credibility. She's obviously one of the biggest stars in Stardom, but she's not the top dog in Stardom, so I can't give her a 9. Overall, Tam Nakano gets a mighty 89 out of 100. I think this is fair for Tam Nakano, who is one of my favourites in Stardom. She's definitely been one of the... When I started watching Stardom in 2019, she was one of the first people I really gravitated to, due to her, her whole look, her charisma, her entrance and everything like that. And of course P-chan as well. Rest in peace. So an 89 out of 100 is definitely fair for her, and I think she'll even continue improving. She is one of the oldest people in Stardom, being in her early 30s, but hopefully she still has a long career ahead of her. Thank you for watching.
Good luck.